So here's the question. Without a change in leadership, why would the next 4 years be any different from the last 4 years?
Big night at the Republican National Convention in Tampa as GOP vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan took the center stage with the keynote address last night. This morning, political commentator and student Luke Vargas joins us on phone live from the RNC in Tampa. Luke, good morning to you. And you were there last night. You got to see Paul Ryan. Did he live up to the hype?
I think yes and no. Yes, because at least compared to some of the other possible vice presidential nominees, I'm thinking of Rob Portman. I was standing with the Ohio delegation yesterday, and I overheard actually a congressman from Ohio talking to one of the delegates saying, oh, well, through the Paul Ryan speech, I'm glad that it wasn't Portman selected because his speech was kind of dry, and the same was true with, Tim Pawlenty and some other possible VPs. But no, perhaps, we know Paul Ryan to be a numbers guy. He's supposed to be a kind of a brainiac, and he knows so much about fiscal policy, and they've got this brilliant stage behind him. I thought maybe he could have done a little lecturing, used some of his knowledge to talk about the budget issues that he's so well versed in. We didn't really see that. So yes and no, he lived up to the role.
He was certainly energetic, and he even poked a little fun at Mitt Romney when he was talking about their music taste.
Right. Yeah, I think, actually when Sarah Palin used the same speechwriter as Paul Ryan did last night, and, listening to Sarah Palin's speech 4 years ago, I was reminded a lot of what I heard last night, which is a generally sort of, pretty standard speech, but some very good one-liners that I think shift the message of the Romney campaign. What you just mentioned when Paul Ryan said, my music catalog goes from AC/DC to Zeppelin. Also, he talked about how we don't want to have another 4 years of kids living in their parents' basements and looking at their faded Obama posters on the wall. Those are the kind of general references and general characterizations of the Obama campaign that Paul Ryan brought to the table, and that I think the Romney campaign are very happy that they have now.
Well, you brought up Sarah Palin. Do you think Paul Ryan is going to bring in a lot of women that might otherwise not be thrilled with Romney? Because that's been his weak spot, we've heard all along.
Sure. I don't think Paul Ryan will be that figure necessarily, though I think, judging by some of the women I was looking at in the crowd, there were people in tears during Paul Ryan's speech last night. I think Ann Romney, though, was the one speaker that they really wanted to stress here at the convention to try to bring women into the fold. And, we didn't really talk about that speech very much, but I think she did a very good job at appealing to some of the sentiments, perhaps, that women might be looking for on this ticket that they haven't seen already.
I would agree with you just based on what I'm hearing other women say. Her likability quotient is very, very high. All right, so real quickly, what's your last word on the GOP convention? Energetic, dry? What's the feel inside?
It's kind of weird. It's dry, and at times there are also a lot of empty seats in a few places. I heard that the house band, the live band that's playing in there, was asked to really turn up the volume because just sort of to drown out a lot of the conversation that was going on during between speeches because really the energy wasn't there. But they're choosing an interesting track here at the convention. They're talking to a lot of small business owners, putting them on stage, and Paul Ryan said every small business has a great story, but the reality is that not every small business has a story worth hearing.
That's
and
true.
A lot of times it sounds like we're hearing people drone on. When I prefer just maybe to have more videos, more music, and more people having fun here. I think that's the sentiment.
Yeah, maybe they need to bring in AC/DC, Paul Ryan.
Or Zeppelin.
Or Zeppelin. You're right. All right, Luke, thank you so much. Good to